Well, hi everyone, and welcome to FilmDirt. I've just re-watched 6 Days, retelling of the Iranian Embassy siege in London in 1980, starring Jamie Bell, Abbie Cornish, Mark Strong, and lots of other great actors, all good in their roles, some I recognise, all producing good work here. Now, this is obviously a military-based film, so we see lots of SAS military procedures, and it's all presented in a way that's comfortable viewing for the average punter, which in a way is great because I remember seeing this on TV, and one of the major points of this siege was that everyone at home got to see it. Families saw what was going on. They saw bombs going off, and it's the first time I've ever seen a dead body live on TV. When it was picked up outside the embassy and carried away, I think I was maybe quite young, because I'm quite old now, and in 1980 it was simpler times, and that's shown in this film with some nice dated vehicles and ambulances on show. So this film was originally released in 2017 on Netflix, and I believe it's also Paramount Plus as well. I really liked it when I first saw it, and I still like it now. When you see films based on old events, it's a time to reminisce. It was, where were you when this happened? I remember exactly where I was. I was sitting wide-eyed looking at the screen. Couldn't believe what my young mind was witnessing. The then UK Prime Minister, Margaret Thatcher, she's having none of this. The terrorists would not leave British soil. No prisoners would be released. And she ordered that there was going to be no smoke screen in front of the embassy to shield what was happening from the cameras. She wanted the world to see exactly how terrorists are dealt with here. And it's such a great message from a very strong politician back then. I only wish sometimes politicians were this strong nowadays. That's probably why she was nicknamed the Iron Lady. I recall my family didn't really agree with all of her policies. The poll tax was a mistake that was rectified too late, in my opinion. But this was definitely a demonstration of strength from Mrs. Thatcher. The whole siege seemed to be carried out in a very amateur way on the part of the terrorists. They wanted prisoners released from a country far away that's got nothing to do with the UK, a country I recall I've never heard of before, Arabistan. And I understand some people have got a major plight overseas, but this isn't the way to handle it. You're not going to get much sympathy. I mean, what were they thinking doing this in London, apart from having the platform to broadcast their message to the world? But ultimately, other Arab nations didn't have any sympathy or respond to their plight. So getting back to the film itself, I think Blue Team leader was Rusty Firmin, played by Jamie Bell. He looked like a soldier to me, all very well acted. Along with the rest of the cast, I couldn't see any weak points. Maybe the film drags a little in the middle where we're going through practice sessions that the SAS carried out. We understand they had to do it, but there is a distinct lull in the story there. But during those portions of the film, there's still information being given to us. Mark Strong's performance in particular I thought was really good. He was the negotiator who tried all the delay tactics. And also the BBC News reporter, Kate Adie, played by Abbie Cornish. I do like Abbie Cornish a lot. I think she's done some fantastic work, but I just think her voice was a little bit too put on. Now, if you're British of a certain age like myself, you'll remember back in the day, Kate Adie was a very famous BBC reporter. She had quite a distinctive voice, I think. Wasn't that deep, so maybe by relaxing it wouldn't have looked like she was trying to initiate a performance, and it would have looked more natural. Also, I have to mention at times, although I think the film was great overall, there was an unsightly green filter during the dark scenes. Not sure whether they wanted to portray that it was possibly night vision. And to my knowledge, I don't think the SAS were actually wearing night vision goggles. But the green really stood out. It was as if they were in the Matrix. I think if they just toned that down, it would have looked more natural. It wasn't that usual Hollywood teal filter, it was more green. And it didn't look great. The SAS wore black, of course, not green. And I think that maybe should have been highlighted, because the whole point was that the SAS Special Air Service were supposed to be a little bit mysterious and not there for any media attention. But Mrs. Thatcher definitely wanted them front and centre just to demonstrate what happens to terrorists in the UK. And I love their look at this time. I love the gas mask part of it. No markings, flags or badges. It's all a little bit mysterious. And personally, I think it was great that we were actually introduced to them in 1980. The gas mask look, I can imagine, was very frightening to the victims. I don't know if they were thinking of using dirty bombs or gas or anything like that. Maybe there was a threat of those at the time. There was, of course, the Iran-Iraq war that was being threatened. So who knows? You have to be prepared. And also another aspect I found really astonishing that this film only reminded me of was that the cop, as one of the hostages, had a gun throughout the whole siege. Too scared to use it. It was him against 6 hijackers. Did he have 6 bullets in there? I think they would have been more surprised than us. A British policeman had a gun on them. It's really unheard of, in a sense, although we know that's not really true. Of course, we know that many of them are armed, but how did this one have a gun on him? We didn't really see too much of the hostages. We know some of them were in complete distress, and one was ill that they released. We only saw glimpses here and there. The whole film was mainly about the SAS. I would have liked to have spent just a little more time inside the embassy just to see the plight. But I guess we're kind of limited on all that information. Unfortunately, another slight negative was that the music during that scene, it was kind of a beatbox thing going on, as if it was a really bad 80s demonstration or educational film. It really didn't fit in that moment, but the music was really good during the end montage. As we play out the rest of the film, I thought it was really emotional. Must have been an emotional time, and again, that comes through really well. So overall, a definite 4 stars for me. This is a really good film, and as far as I'm aware, it's really close to what actually happened. I heard one of the slight discrepancies was maybe when the main terrorist was trying to blend in with the hostages at the end, and there was a few stories that he was shot again. It isn't shown in the film. The job was ultimately completed and a success. Unfortunately, there were casualties involved, which is always sad. Now, every few years, I can almost reminisce to my childhood when I dip into this footage. Wow, that was the frame charge going on the window. Look at those old fire trucks. Now, this is the footage I remember where the newsman, Sim Harris, there was 2 of them, wasn't there? He dives back into the building. That's the curtain catching fire and and setting fire to the rest of the room. See, this has never really been seen live on TV, or even since then. Really extraordinary. That's the police officer taking off his hat. I guess it must have been full of smoke in there, so he's put his head out the window. Yeah, what an extraordinary episode. So that's all from me for now. Thanks for joining me. And also, Rusty Firmin has a YouTube channel. He's spoken about the Embassy siege a few times, and it's always interesting to check him out. So I'll put a link to his channel below in the description. And thank you very much for joining me. Join me again soon. All the best. Take care.